All right, super. This is the last teach back, ladies, and it's really bittersweet. Sweet that Carrie's about to present it, but that it's coming to an end. But anyway, we have an idea. We have plans to stay together and carry on. So anyway, I'm gonna let you share. There we go. Just gave
Thank you.
access. And Carrie, all the best for tonight. My dear old friend, good luck.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark. Welcome, everyone. Um, a little disclaimer, I have never done this type of thing online or using slides. So for me, that is it's quite scary. And I'm very nervous this evening. But as Mark said, if I wasn't nervous, I wouldn't like care, like that. It's that anxiety to perform because I know how important this work is. So let me try and share my screen with you. Mm, Over there, and then do this. So just while we wait for my technology to catch up with me, um, let's do a little brief check-in. I know Haley's feeling a bit frazzled, but let's just sit up nice and tall, get comfy. And before we even start, have your three pens or pencils handy, and your paper or your journal, just so that you don't have to go and find them later. Um, and let's just close our eyes for a few moments. If you're not comfortable with your eyes closed, you can also keep them open. That's absolutely fine. And we're going to take a few deep breaths. Breathing right down into the base of your belly. Almost as though you're breathing into your pelvis. So it's right low down. And as you inhale, expand the belly out. And as you exhale, let the belly softly recede back. And this deep belly breath can be really helpful and useful just to calm our nervous systems down. You might feel your feet on the floor, or your seat on your cushion or your buttocks. Maybe you can feel your heart pounding in your chest, like mine. Just noticing how you are this evening. And then taking one deep, big, full breath in through your nose and sigh out through your mouth. You can open your eyes again, coming back to the group. And just take a big shoulder roll. So as you breathe in, taking your shoulders up to your ears and roll them all the way down your back as you breathe out. Two more like that. Breathing in, big shoulder roll up, breathing out, down your back. And again. And maybe a sigh. Okay. I'll just put my glasses on to see what I'm doing here. Here we go. That's better. No, I'm joking. But yeah, tonight is really an invitation to come as you are, just to leave your day behind you and whatever's still to come, leave it for the future and just be right here. There's no expectation for you to be anyone other than yourself. So we're going to explore the three-circle model for emotional regulation this evening, and that's it's there we go, on to the next one. It's part of compassion-focused therapy, and the gentleman up in the top right corner there is Paul Gilbert, and he developed this model, and it's like a framework for us to understand our own emotional systems and I guess explore them with a sense of really with that sense of giving it a structure, giving it like this is this and this belongs here and this belongs here, which is very helpful for a lot of people. So he's a clinical psychologist based in Derby in England. And he founded this compassion-focused therapy. He's also been awarded the Order of the British Empire for his continued contribution to mental health. He works a lot with depression and stress, anxiety, and that realm of mental health care. And he's written many books, one of them being The Compassionate Mind, which is a book that I've read. It was also part of the mindfulness course that I did before I joined Mark's one many years ago. So this three circles model formed part of that course as well, which is where I was introduced to it. And I've found that it's incredibly helpful when we're exploring mindfulness to recognize the patterns in our emotions. So the more that we practice our sort of formal seated meditation, we start to become aware of these patterns and habit patterns, sort of thinking the same thoughts, or even just going back to the same memories sometimes, or imagining the same disasters in the future. And when we can see those patterns, it's difficult to understand, okay, how can I shift out of them? And hopefully, as we continue in our session, we can explore some ideas around that. I do feel quite constrained by time, so we will leave all the feedback and exploration for the end of the session, just so that I can give you all the information that I feel you need. So our first circle is our drive system. And that system is its function is to motivate us towards incentive and resources to survive. So it's our hunter-gatherer. It's what gets us out of bed in the morning. It's what pays our taxes. And then the hormone associated with this system is dopamine. And the feelings are around wanting, pursuing, achieving, consuming. Very much, if you look at it from sort of a Buddhist perspective, it would be the desire to achieve things, the desire to consume things or to have things differently even. That's my interpretation as well. On to our next circle. Mr. Red Circle is threat. And you can imagine just the word threat can evoke those ideas around fight, flight, and freeze. So our threat system is there to help us protect ourselves, to make sure that we survive, and for us to protect, the people in our community. So it's not just self-centered; it's also about the people around us. And its hormone relates to our adrenaline and cortisol. And when the feelings are around anger, anxiety, and disgust. And you can see already that there's some correlation here between our drive and our threat system. They're very much in charge of the doing. Our third circle is our soothing system. And our soothing system is, its function is to feel safe and content and to be at ease with what is around us. Its purpose is all about care. It's about connection, about relationships. The hormone associated with our soothing system is oxytocin. And oxytocin is often referred to as the love hormone. It's what is stimulated in our bodies when we hug someone. Just an aside, that hug needs to be at least 30 seconds. So the next time you hug someone, do a little countdown as much as you can. And our soothing system is often activated through self-compassion. So the feelings are feelings of being content, of feeling safe and connected and cared for. And I really like that last one, trusted, so that you are being trusted. And I think that I would probably relate that in both directions of a relationship, that you are being trusted and that you are trusting someone else. So those feelings. What's really important for our soothing system is to understand that our soothing system counterbalances the drive and the threat systems. So if we look at this from the context of mindfulness, we can understand, or perhaps you can already sort of categorize for yourself where things might fall, where things might land. But I'd like to explore that in a little exercise. So this is just, again, just a brief overview of the three circles. We've got the drive mode, I sometimes refer to them as modes of being rather than systems. Sometimes systems can evoke a rigidity. So our drive mode, its function is to motivate us. The hormone is dopamine, and the feelings are those of desire or wanting. Our threat mode, to pick up and detect threats easily, to self-protect. Our fight, flight, and freeze. The hormones are adrenaline and cortisol, and the feelings are around anger, disgust, anxiety. And then the soothing, its function is for feeling content, for connection. The hormone is oxytocin, and those feelings of love, of warmth, of connection, and trust. So, with our drive and our threat, we can sometimes go, "Oh, I don't want those things in my life," but really we need them. We can't, like I mentioned right at the beginning, we can't function without them. They're a part of being human. It's when these two modes take over and that we're only living in drive and threat that we start to get in trouble. Mark's spoken in our course before about burnout and overworking. All of that is related directly to our drive, to that over functioning, over dopamining. And often, like I said, the threat and drive can correlate quite closely. So perhaps you are driven and motivated to go out and work because you feel there's some sort of threat, because you're worried about a future and you're worried you don't have enough money for retirement or for paying for varsity education one day. So they can really correlate quite a lot. So what we're going to do next is a little exercise. I'd like you to take a moment, just sitting up nice and tall, and close your eyes just for a moment. If you don't want to close your eyes, that's also fine. It just helps us to connect inward when the eyes are closed. Take a deep breath. And just consider those 3 circles. And then returning back into the group, you can open your eyes again. And just on your piece of paper, write or creating 3 circles for yourself. And each one is a different color, hence the 3 different colored pens. And while you do these drawings of your circles, we draw them according to size, where the largest is where you spend most of your time. And once you've got those 3 circles drawn, I think for time's sake this evening, just noting down one activity in your own time after our session. You can explore this in much more depth. So one activity that stimulates this mode of being for you. And these are examples of my own circles. Just if you need any nudges. And moving on, if you haven't completed, you're welcome to continue along the way. Because unfortunately, there's a little bit of bad news. The bad news is that we can't make these circles smaller. So where you spend the most of your time, we can't just go, okay, well, I'll just shrink that one and then I'll be in balance and all three circles will be fine. Because most of the time, and this is a generalization, but most of the time, these ways of being are quite hardwired into our being, um, or into our doing, perhaps. Um, the good news is that we can increase the size of the circles by committing to doing things that stimulate these circles. So just by a show of hands, you can just show me on the screen whose circle was biggest at drive and threat. At drive and at threat and at soothing. Ah, wonderful, Mapula. So for a lot of us, drive and threat are the biggest. And how do we cultivate our soothing system? Of course, we do this through self-compassion. It's something that stimulates all the right neurons in our brains. It stimulates all the good feelings. But it can also be very hard. Self-compassion is difficult, and I am the first to admit that. I remember very clearly being on a retreat once. It was actually part of my course, and we were doing a self-compassion meditation, and everybody was sitting, and you know, there was beautiful silence. It was in a beautiful meditation room. Everybody was caring and loving. And throughout the meditation, all I wanted to do was get up and stab everyone. um, and just had these awful images of sort of really violent anger and rage. Um, and um, it was so wonderful to be in an environment where that was okay. Um, I think that was the biggest lesson that I learned on that in that session was that it's okay to not be okay, and that if you have connection with the right people, they can really help to support you in those times. Um, so I hope that our time is running short, but I'm going to run through a loving kindness practice. Um, and it will involve self-compassion. But I invite you to pick up the lightweight. So we all understand that mindfulness is like gym for our minds. It's like going to the gym and working out. And the more that we practice, the stronger that mindfulness muscle is going to get. But when we go to the gym, we don't want to start with the 50-kilogram weight. We want to start with the 2-kilogram weight, or even just our body weight. So I will invite you to choose a being or a person. It can be an animal, and make it someone that you have an easy relationship with. So it might not even be your husband or your best friend, because sometimes those relationships are challenging. So it could be a really neutral, maybe you have a pet that you want to invite in. But let's begin. And I'll first invite you to stand up a moment, if you're able to, with all of your technology. So just stand up and have a big stretch out. I'm going to reach my arms up over my head and just reach up. Roll your shoulders a few times and maybe even shake your hands. And then let's come back down to sit. Thank you for indulging me in a body break. So try and sit with your feet on the floor and a nice long spine. Let's take a big shoulder roll, inhaling, bringing the shoulders up to your ears, and exhale, roll them down your back. You can have your hands on your lap or on your thighs, with your eyes open or closed. And if they're open, just gazing down at about 45 degrees, and we're not looking at anything. The eyes are soft in their focus. And we begin in a normal way by checking in with our breathing, noticing your breathing. Taking a few deep belly breaths. Breathing in, the belly expands out like a balloon. And breathing out, it gently softens and deflates. And checking in with your body. How is your body right now? Noticing any physical sensations in the body. Tingling, numbness, temperature changes. Bringing attention back to breathing. Still breathing into the belly. See if you can invite a longer exhale. So that your exhalation is longer than your inhalation. And you can use a count here as well. You might breathe in for 4 and breathe out for 6. Perhaps noticing how the body begins to settle down and rest on your seat. And just as the body settles down, resting, releasing any counting, letting go of any doing anything, we invite the mind to rest in the body. Just being right here. Then bringing to mind a place where you feel safe. And really indulging in the imagery here. So imagining that you're sitting in this place. It could be somewhere out in nature, or perhaps it's right here where you are now. Perhaps it's at a friend's house or your grandmother's couch. I like to imagine a clearing in a forest. Now bringing to mind this place and as much detail as possible, imagining what it might smell like, what colors you would see, what sounds you would hear. And then in the distance, you notice a figure moving comfortably and slowly towards you. And as the figure comes closer, you begin to recognize it as someone that you have an easy relationship with. Remembering we're choosing the lightweight this evening. So it might even be your favorite pet, or a friend, a loved one. And just seeing this being in front of you, moving closer and coming to join you, sitting next to you. Perhaps you hold hands or you rest your head on them, they rest their head on you. Or perhaps if it's an animal, they sit on your lap and you gently stroke them. And know that whatever feelings arise during this time, invite them in. They're all welcome. And we meet them with curiosity and kindness. So while we sit here with our friend, we can share words of loving kindness, of well-being for both of us. May we be well. May we be happy. May we be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we be healthy. May we be happy. May we be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Repeating these phrases, and you may have your own phrases, you may have your own words. Just consistently repeating the phrases. May you be healthy. May we be happy. May we be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And as we sit here with our friend repeating these phrases, we see more and more beings joining us. Perhaps they're friends or family, loved ones. We invite them to join us. May we all be well. May we all be happy. May we all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And if during our time here, perhaps strong emotions arise, I invite you to place a hand on your heart or two hands on your heart, just holding yourself here, knowing that you can also move away if you need to. And gently now, allowing the imagery to dissolve away like an effervescence or like a mist lifting. And just noticing sensations in the body. Coming back to breathing. And we take one deep, big breath in through the nose. Sigh out through the mouth. Just dropping your chin into your chest. Rolling your right ear over to your right shoulder. Dropping chin to chest. And left ear to the left shoulder. Chin back to chest. And bringing your hands together at your heart center, you can rub the palms together, generate a little bit of heat and warmth here. And then hold the hands still, holding them together, like you're holding a precious gift between your hands. Whatever benefit we've cultivated here this evening, as we move into the rest of our week, the rest of the year, let us share these benefits in ever widening circles through our thoughts, our words, and our actions. Thank you. You can come back into the room, back into the space in your own time, in your own way. So that meets the end of my session. I know I have gone over time. Apologies if you had somewhere to be. I do also have a few references here and further reading if you'd like some more information on that self-compassion focused therapy. Paul Gilbert started the, sure, I can't actually see what it says there, but the bottom one, the Compassionate Mind Foundation, that's what it is.
I'm feeling really good.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, I'm feeling
Job
really
done.
good. I really, I feel just like I needed that so much, and
Oh,
it was like a little holiday. Sure. Thank you so much, Carey.
my deepest pleasure and honor and privilege.
Sure. I'm going to ask the ladies to comment first, please. Who would like to go first? Haley, come on in. Thank you, friend.
Thank you, friends. Thank you, Carey. That was also, I think, for me, very much like Mark put it, a holiday, and really just everything from the start. I mean, I think just your voice in itself is so caring, so reassuring. You speak slowly, but everything is purposeful. And I think that's what I really admired about your delivery, is it was so purposeful, and your message was clear throughout. You kept it simple, it wasn't overly complicated. I understood exactly what you meant by the three circles and states of being, and recognizing that, and how you portrayed it, in the sense that we can't shrink it, but we can work to grow the others, was very interesting. And it just helped me slow down from a very, very busy back-to-back day. Like I said, that ended off with having to get my car jump started at 5 p.m., which wasn't so much fun, but you just helped me to slow down, and I really enjoyed everything. I enjoyed your meditation was beautiful. I mean, you can see it's very natural for you. It was really interesting because my safe space, and I think the breathing and the longer exhale was very powerful, and I did feel it just did help me to get into that parasympathetic nervous system through the longer exhale. And I actually went into a space that I haven't thought about for years, which was being on a swing, because that idea of pulling back for 4 and then letting go for 6. And I kind of was imagining myself on a swing in the park. I think I was at Gold Reef City for a few minutes. Then I was back in the park. And it was just lovely to imagine who would join me in the park. My doggies, my auntie who likes to go to the park, my mom from when I was a child. It was very interesting and very settling. And so I thank you. And I think that, this mindfulness thing is your thing for sure. You've got a natural knack for it and a gift. And I think simply being in your presence is soothing, which is really wonderful. So well done and thank you. And it's been a gift to have everyone on this training has just brought me so much. You give me that oxytocin, that virtual hug. So thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Hayley.
And also, I think
appreciate your word.
Yeah, and that come as you are. I mean, I think I felt comfortable enough to come as I mean, I had a 5-minute shower. I've got like pajamas on under this jacket, and I felt comfortable and safe to come as I am. And that's not just to you, but that's, I think, to everyone in this group, that I feel there's no pretenses. We don't have to, dress to impress or do anything. We just ourselves. So I love this group.
Oh, you're on fire
Thank
tonight,
you.
Hayley. You're saying all the right things, hey? Wow.
It's the last one.
Could have a flat battery more often.
Yeah, thanks, Carey. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Hayley. Anybody else? Alida, come on in, friend.
Okay, so I always I do what I really liked, and then I do what I think could make it even better, um, which always depends on preference and audience as well. Um, what I must say, what I really enjoyed was the breathing with the shoulder roll. I haven't come across that yet, and I think that on the one hand, it helps the facilitator to also see if people are engaging. I think, because you can't really always see when people are breathing, or are they focused, are they there, are they not there. It's very nice. But it also helps you with your rhythm. So I really like that. Um, and then yeah, I like the focus on, on the self-compassion from starting at the beginning. What I really liked the invitation that you sent. I think that was, it created a bit of a, um, I don't know, when you have a commitment versus when you've got an invitation. There's something slightly different. There's more of an excitement when you're. It's like just. It made me think of being in grade 1 and getting that party invite. It was just so. You've got a party invite, so it was nice. Really enjoyed that. Also, just knowing. Um, or getting a feeling with some of the posts you made in terms of where you were going, and it was something, well, creating that expectation and a feeling of really wanting to be part, which I think is very nice. It was all very much authentic and in line with who you are, very I'd say calm but minimalistic, not too much detail, not too much, not just, here it is type thing. So it also didn't um, create a feeling of, oh, what are we going to do? It was just like, very, very calm. So really, really like that. Um, I would have it would have been this is not to make it better, this is just me being curious, but it would have been nice to know what led you to choose that this is the topic that you wanted to share with us. Um, I mean, I know you were struggling to decide what you're going to do. And I mean, I know you said, it's part of, you did it already, as part of a different course, but it wasn't just a convenience sample. And, oh, I've already done this. This is mindfulness. Let me plonk it in this category. It wasn't that. There was a lot more thought in it, obviously. And it would have been not, I mean, you wouldn't say that necessarily, but I'm saying for me, it would be interesting to know why you chose that.
Can I interject and
Can
let you know?
you can?
So even before I mentioned it during one of our sessions, I was like, oh, there's this thing that's quite similar. Um, it's something that I've used in a lot of retreats that I've run, and I've always found people really engaging deeply with it. In a different context, if I had had more time, we would have gone through so the different activities that you've listed, and explored it in more detail and done sort of a more reflection, and then looked at shared a lot more, I guess.
Mm, mm,
Why is work in your threat system? I think things like that often come up for people when we share, and then somebody else will be like, oh, but I put that in this system because it evokes this in me.
mm.
And there are just so many insights that come from that type of sharing, that have always come across as really helpful, um,
And I
within
think,
any context.
yes.
Yeah.
And I think coming from what you posted and looking at the title and that, I was expecting um, something about care, self-compassion, compassion, something in terms of that. And I think I mean, I fully understand why you had to, because there's the three circles,
Yeah.
but I think I would have merely just mentioned circle one and
Mm.
two and focused and zoomed in on circle three and
Mm.
really given the focus fully to, regardless of if it's your biggest or smallest circle, doesn't matter, but really focusing and maybe even do a bit of a reflection on the third circle,
Mm.
so that when you went into the meditation, the focus was really not, because if you've got maybe somebody who is quite triggered or threatened or something, if you look at the three circles and maybe one of those are huge, I don't know, it might be a little bit distracting.
Mm.
So for a shorter session like this, I think you could have
Yeah.
fully focused on that third circle. Um, and
So
then,
initially, I was struggling to decide whether I should just do self-compassion as the whole session or include the three circles. So yeah,
it's a tough,
it's
yeah, I know, yeah,
it's
it's
so
tough
difficult.
because you
It's
want to
really
give
difficult.
background and you want to add value. But I think that would, that could have potentially given more, in that area, because I didn't expect anything on drive or threat from
Mm.
what you've preempted, so I wouldn't have missed it, if you know what
Yeah,
I mean.
yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
and then I think I would have, I would have liked, but I mean, it is a more advanced class. It's not necessary. But I would have liked when you did the, breathe in for 4, breathe in for 6. I would have liked you just once to count it.
Okay.
Just a once off. Not we can't doing it with you, but sort of just to feel your rhythm. Because
Yeah.
I know Mark's rhythm, I know Maggie's rhythm, but I've never done yours. So
Mm.
I'm sort of, and I mean, I understand, you go with your own rhythm. And for us, it wasn't a thing. And obviously, if it's a less advanced class, you are going to do it. But I
Yeah.
think still, even being more advanced, I felt it would have been nice. It's not that I couldn't do it without. So it wasn't like a make or break. It would have just been nice. And then just two things. So, and this is the one is just absolutely me because I like detail and I understand you do less detail. So that's a personality thing as well. But I would have liked to know that the possibility of my circles being different sizes exists before you gave me the activity of drawing the circles. So what
Mm.
I mean is in like just before you just say, and these circles are going to be different sizes, or these circles will look different for you in different situations, maybe, or
Mm.
something. Because when you said, when we already, I mean, when you drew them, I wasn't like, oh, what? Okay, first I was like, am I going to do it on one page? How am I? And then I was like, Alita, just stop it, just do it. And then because I overthink, I know that. So I was just like, no, just do it. There's no right and wrong. Okay, just do it. And and I didn't think about size or anything. But when you said, what did something about look at which one's the biggest one or something.
Yes,
I
yeah.
looked at it and I was like, no, man, you should have told me. They could be different sizes. Okay, just for me to
Yeah,
visualize it because
yeah.
I'm not as visual. I'm more auditory inclined than what I'm
Mm.
visually inclined. So, you know, you know, anyway, but
Just
what I
more
must
instruction. More
well,
instruction.
or just not, just a quick thing, something. Say, you know what, you'll see here, I've got them all the same size
Mm.
and I've chosen these colors, but it's your color and it's whatever size you feel. Just
Mm.
that. I mean, doesn't have to be make them different sizes or because then you confuse people as well. But just a general open up the possibility. Um, because I think you are naturally creative, more creative and open and not so focused on the detail, just let it flow. But not everybody's like that. But what was very interesting to me was I'm telling you now, like a fact is a fact. Okay. My drive circle shrunk from the beginning, and I've had discussions with Mark as well, from the beginning of this course to today. My my drive circle definitely, it wasn't that my soothing and my threat expanded. My drive circle has shrunk. It's
Mm.
definitely because of conscious things that I've done and and decisions that I've made and boundaries that I've put in place.
Mm.
And because of that, I was actually very impressed by my soothing circle. I must admit.
Yay.
Because my circle looks so good. All three of my circles are actually very similar in size. Um, but when I started the course, I think my soothing circle was a little bit sad.
Mm.
And it's definitely, even when you said write down the activities, I wrote down one activity in drive, one in threat, and 5 in soothing without even having to really think. And
Mm.
it's definitely how I've applied things, during, this time that we've been
Mm.
together and the meditations that I've done and how I've been reflecting on it. And so I can say for a fact it can shrink, but the soothing definitely, that to me it was look at that. I was very proud because it's a big
Well
thing. It's a
done.
big thing for me, and it was
Yeah.
so good to see it visually like that. So thank you for that. It's it's just good. I feel like framing that. That looks to me like progress.
Fabulous. That's so fabulous.
And
Yeah.
and then just the last thing is I don't think I understand where you come from, but I think, when you're talking about definitions and that, to bring it to Buddha can be
Mm.
tricky with the wrong group. And then when you said as well, when you said, and this is my belief as well, something like that, it wasn't clear, are you a Buddhist? Or not that it matters, but what I'm saying is it's not clear, are you a Buddhist, or is it that your belief is what you said about what you were saying? And
Mm.
in our group, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if you were with a different group, you might have lost a few people there.
Mm.
And you might
Mm.
not do it in another group. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Pointing
because
it
I
out.
don't think, because while you were saying it, I was going like, did it add any value, you saying that? And I don't believe it did, unless you were with a group of Buddhists.
Mm.
And saying that could have drawn them closer to you because they
Mm.
might not know where you at. But for the rest of us, I don't think would have taken anything away from your presentation if you didn't say that. But you definitely didn't disappoint. It was beautiful, and congratulations, and really well done. Really well
Yeah,
done.
thanks, Alida.
Thank
You talking about definitions, I just realized that I didn't even define mindfulness in in my whole
you. It was
session.
beautiful.
Haha. Anyway.
Self-awareness.
Self-compassion.
Self-compassion.
Self-compassion. Okay. A heart.
Forgetting your circle. Forgetting your circle. Oh, and by the way, I think Carey's trying to convert everyone to Buddhism.
Absolutely.
That's my feeling.
Secular Buddhism.
Just kidding.
Mm,
Thanks, Alida. Wow. Um,
yeah.
really, really awesome feedback. Um, and yeah, very valuable. So thanks for that, friend. Okay. Maggie's got a hand up. Come on, Maggie.
Okay. Yeah, sure. It was really very lovely. I think Haley and Alida has already said a lot of the thoughts I've had. Yeah, I agree. I also made a note around the Buddhism thing. I think some people might go, oh, okay, now just like sort of be a little bit worried, where's this going to go? But yeah, I'm just going to give my feedback in little bullet points because I don't want to reiterate too much of what has already been said. But perhaps it's good to also know someone else also thought about that or also noticed that. Yeah. And I really also liked the shoulder rolling was also very nice for me. Alida made a comment about the counting with regards to the breathing. For me, again, I thought it was, I didn't really miss you counting for me because I almost felt like it was open-ended, like just given as an option, which I think was nice. If we take into consideration, Carol always says that some people find counting distracting. I like the counting because it helps me focus. So for me, it was almost nice that you didn't count with us because it was just an option. So some people might have counted and some would have just continued. So I think that was really nice. I'm quite used to sort of doing diaphragmatic breathing with my patients, but I think it was nice the way in which you described sort of breathing into your pelvis. So I was sort of already doing that because I'm used to diaphragmatic breathing exercises and so on. But I think it's a nice imagery or to get people to sort of go full on. I haven't heard it used that way. I think the glasses thing was quite funny. I do think that you wore glasses in a different a different evening. Other classes, though, if I'm not mistaken, but those were quite a surprise. Um, yeah, you were also just mindful of your own emotions and feelings beforehand and sort of sharing that with us. I liked the personal examples that you gave throughout. When we had to do the imagery, telling us sort of where your space might be, and with the circles at one stage I actually had made notes about the circles, and I thought it would have been nice to see again the slide that you had with the three different circles and sort of the feelings and the hormones and all of that that you get in each. Because I paged back to look at that information in order to know what to put in. But then just as I was sort of looking for that, you put your examples, which was very helpful. So I really liked that as well. Yeah, and then with regards to, I think something in Alida's comments made me remember that on one of your very first slides, you had mentioned that we sort of, when we meditate, we tend to go into the same patterns of thought. And I think, I'm not sure if by becoming aware of it, is it just about being comfortable or aware of it, or is there something that we can change and yeah, through practice?
So in my experience, the seeing is the doing. So just by becoming aware of our patterns of thinking, we change them. I've forgotten now who it was. It might have been Oliver Sacks or somebody entirely different, but they were saying observation changes everything. So just by observing and noticing our patterns of thinking, they change. So we don't have to think or like consciously do anything to change them. Just by noticing them, they change. Which is difficult in a world where everything is supposed to be fixable. And protocols, and I've been watching a lot of Andrew Huberman recently, so he's big on protocols and do this and do this and do this and then this will happen. But in my own experience with mindfulness, when we just become aware, when we shine that light of awareness on our own habit patterns, they begin to change.
So would that then be where you perhaps why you also let us reflect on our drive and threat? Because I think Alida was saying maybe you could have just zoomed in on the one. Although I think in a way it was good for me to just take note again of my drive and my threat and what is sitting in those areas. I think it might also change on different days.
Absolutely.
I've been in a not so nice space. My drive and threat is quite big. And so yeah, I was a little disappointed when you told me they can't shrink.
Oh, no.
Because I'm like, now what? They're huge at the moment. But I do think yeah, the right kind of self-compassion meditation in the end definitely made them feel a lot better. So I think you did amazingly with that. Yeah, I really felt so in the zone and so good after that. And I've really been trying to de-stress and calm and meditate and all sorts. And I've been struggling the last while. And yeah, that was really, really good for me. So thank you very much for that.
Good.
Yeah, and I think that's more or less it. Yeah, thank you.
I think what I did leave out is talking about the fact that in any moment we could be in our drive or our threat or our soothing, and that can change just in an instant. I'm highly sensitive to loud bangs and things that it just throws me straight into threat mode. Like my heart jumps out of my mouth. And I live with two boys who don't know how to put the toilet seat down gently or close the door gently. So, the reality is that we fluctuate in our day between these systems, but to know where we spend the majority of our time, like you say, it just opens up that hopefully an aha moment of, oh, that's why, or oh, now I need to do more of this, and I can counterbalance that.
I think in a longer sort of session, it would be nice to have more of that detail as well. And even I think you mentioned some of us are just more prone to be like our drive would be bigger. Is that a personality style or what sort of feeds into those things would be nice to explore more if it is a longer session or a series of sessions or so on.
Yeah. The other thing that I like to do with this type of thing is to get people to write down a commitment for themselves, something that they can do every day, every week, and every month that increases the system that they're lacking in. So it's something that you guys can do in your own time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. I appreciate your feedback.
Thank you so much, Maggie.
And the leaders. I didn't say thank you to a leader either. Thank you.
Great. Any more feedback for Carey before I give my...
Hey, Mapula. I'll go next.
Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gents. Do you know the saying that saved by the bell? I think the ladies, for the fact that ladies went first, they managed to give all the feedback. And from my side, you know what, because of the soothing voice, go carry that voice. And the caring voice also, I think at some stage I forgot that I even have to critique or to do anything. I nearly felt asleep because of the voice. And thank you for the information with the cycles. I think I'm also of the opinion that the cycles won't shrink, however, they will change in sizes depending on what you're putting effort into at that particular moment. Remember, we are saying we're focusing at that moment. Maybe now the fact that my cycle, the soothing cycle is the biggest because that's where my focus is now, but the focus can change. So they might not shrink, but they might be different in sizes. Maybe my soothing next time might be the smallest size of the three. And thank you for that information. And, I also agree with the fact that, at that moment, look at whatever that you're focusing on and dwell on it. And yes, the cycle will change. I understand also when Alida, when you say, no, mine have shrinked. I don't think it has shrinked. It's just that the other cycles have increased. So that one is still there. It's just that now you have two more bigger sizes around it. That is my thinking, though. And thank you so much, ladies, for the feedback. I think even with the invitation for you to say, come as you are, I was comfortable even to say, my cycle soothing is the biggest. And I don't have to worry to say, most of the people are saying their biggest cycle is drive. I'm just being myself and I'm comfortable doing that in this group. And I'm very grateful for this group because I don't mind being vulnerable in this group, and I'm going to miss this group. Mark, you must find a way for us to meet again. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mapula. Thank you. And
Mapula,
I'm so glad that your soothing circle is big at the moment.
thank you, Mapula. It's a very special group, and I really appreciate your comments too, and that you feel safe. It means a lot. Let me just put my glasses on so I can, give my feedback. Oh, yeah, I love it. Okay. Carey, you look great. You showed up really well. You're beautiful. You got nice lighting going on. Your internet's fantastic. The colors that you're wearing, somehow for me, tied in with the colors of my pencils. So I thought maybe that was on purpose. I'm not sure, but it was great. I like the way you use the WhatsApp group to preempt us, and lovely sort of tie in from the group into your slides, in terms of the graphics. Also, it was nice that I know you wanted to unpack, you reached out to me, you had, some things you wanted to work out. I like that. I appreciate that. I'm always here for, students that want to do that. So I think it just made you feel better, and less anxious. And I think that was a good thing to do. But yet in the beginning you said you were very nervous, and that was very vulnerable and very sweet, and made us like you even more,
Yay.
and then you just saying, but this work is so important, and that's why I'm feeling the way I am, which is a very powerful thing to say, and I think in these courses I get a lot of people who do facilitate, daily on to their colleagues, whether it's advanced PowerPoint or stats or economics or whatever it is. But when it comes to this, they say, I feel strangely nervous, and I don't know why, because I'm a facilitator and this is what I do, but I don't know why I'm nervous now. And I think that is exactly it. It's because it's just that important. And it's also vulnerable. You're sharing a lot of yourself. I was a bit worried in the beginning with the sharing of the screen, and I was like, oh, what's happening? But you didn't skip a beat. You were like, while we wait for it, let's do a check-in. And that was great. Nice to, to reflect on Haley, and then going into getting the posture ready, having your pencils ready, just sort of giving us a lot of nice direction. I felt very contained. I felt like I knew what I was doing. There was nothing confusing for me. You mapped it out beautifully. I felt that this was very professional. Breathing into the base of the belly, that's very important. Nice instruction. I love the words that you use, like softly recede back, yeah, I just love how it's helpful to calm the nervous system. It's really powerful start. Feeling the cushion underneath me, the feet on the floor. I love when you said, and your heart pounding like mine, and I had a little giggle. I'm guessing your audience was us, right? I wasn't quite sure if that came across clearly, or maybe I missed something. But that's fine. Great opening practice. I also enjoyed the shoulder roll. It reminded me of do you know Stephen Heyman at all?
No.
Gosh, he's very popular. The ladies love him. He's a very good-looking Belgian guy. He was a colleague of mine, and and he would always bring movement into mindfulness. So it reminded me of Stephen, and bringing a little bit of body awareness and movement in, and it was nice. I love the fab glasses. I love using props. Today I was talking about burnout and how one match can cause a chain reaction, and I actually did it live, so I nearly set my house on fire.
Excellent.
But
Excellent.
it's things like that that people remember. So when you bring play into a session, it stays with people more, right? So it's a very skillful thing to use, play.
Mark, I just have to say that you taught me that
Oh,
many years ago at Living Yoga, and you pulled out a rubber chicken at the end at the end of one of our sessions, and you honked it,
oh
and
my
you
God, I remember
sort
that.
of the intention was to like remember to maintain your sense of humor.
Wow, Carey, I actually remember it now, but I did forget it.
Yeah.
I wonder where that chicken went, actually. That's a good. I've got a whole cupboard full of props, and I collect more and more as time goes on. Um, I've even have a wizard's hat, actually.
Awesome.
Gee, come as you are. I love that. I was thinking of Nirvana, come as you are, as you were. So I was having that sort of link to the song, but that's just my background.
Was definitely the intention.
Oh, okay. Yeah, crazy. Come as you are. Um, Paul Gilbert, I just want to go and look at more of his work. I think it was a very nice explanation of the essentials. And I was watching how you speak. You didn't feel like you were reading anything, and you use your hands a lot. You're very expressive, and you would. It's nice to see. It's nice to watch. Your heart's really in it. Your whole body is animated. You're really present with it. Um, yeah, the three circles. I love the examples that you use, like getting out of bed, paying the taxes. They were little nice examples, sometimes quirky. Just one thing on the one slide, you had a spelling error. Achieving. There's no,
Oh, golly.
yeah. You had an E after the V. I know it sounds anal, but these are the things. Just pointing out make your presentation.
Autocorrect failed me.
Yeah, because I thought nah, and then I put it into Word, and it kicked it out. It said wrong. So I don't know. It seemed to be, yeah, incorrect. It's Achieving. Anyway, there's the geek part of me.
Thank you.
Okay. And I was thinking, like, the circles as you were going through all of them. I would have liked to see maybe in the top left corner, 1, 2, 3, as you were going through each one. But I mean, that's just me, and that's kind of how I would have done it, because I was thinking, what was the first one again? And
Mm.
I was wondering a lot about it. But it's not a biggie. Um, but then you once again came in with the overview just as I was thinking that I needed to see them again. So it's like you
Okay.
you know you satisfied that need. And then you went over them again, and I actually like that. I like the repetition. I like the reinforcing. Again, that helps with learning and memorization. Um, and then I loved how you like related the chemicals, the hormones to the different circles and the function and the feelings. It was really, really good. And I know that this could expand into a much bigger realm. Uh, Again, your hands were very animated. I think it's very powerful. And the slides were animated. So you were animated, the slides were animated. There was a lot of life and energy that was coming through. Um, and then you mentioned the link to burnout in the course, which I thought was great. Where's your mind? Again, my mind turned to the Pixies. Where is my mind? Anyway, that's you can see my grunge background. Nice to suggest that you don't have to close the eyes, consider the three circles. Um, and then I was thinking, oh, you need to go back to the slide where you had the three circles, because there
Mm.
could be someone that doesn't remember. But then, oh, there you go. Carey had the three circles on again, and your vulnerability was your three circles. So then it was a great prompt, because then I was like, oh, I was a little bit confused as to how I must do this, and your prompt landed well, and I knew exactly what to do. So it made it all very clear. And that was the nice thing about your entire teach back, is that there were like areas where I was uncertain, and then all of a sudden you just clarify that in a very skillful way. So I was satisfied, And then you created this drama by saying, oh, but there's bad news, bad news. And I was like, oh, wow, what is the bad news, So it was like, read all about it, read all about it. That we can't make these circles smaller. I think Alita's got a point. But Mapula's got a point too. It reminded me of a quote that I read about grief, that the grief never really goes away. It's just that we grow around it, So it reminded me a little bit of that. It's maybe it never goes away, but all our goodness and all our better qualities expand exponentially. Great check-in with the raising of the hands, which one you are. I must say I did like the three, and I think was Maggie's point too, is it opened my eyes, and I was like, oh gosh, okay, I thought I was Mr. Soothing, and I'm actually Mr. Dry.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's crazy how it's like, for me, my drive is my smallest circle, so that's where I have my most work to do. Yeah.
I'm all drive, right? So I got to work on the soothing. So it was an exercise in self-awareness, and I mean, isn't that a mindful exercise? Then I really enjoyed the story of your retreat. I had to laugh at the image of violence. It was so shocking, It was like, oh, woke me up, and what? You wanted to stab everybody?
Yeah.
It was a really vulnerable story, and magic. And the mantra, it's okay to not be okay, is a very powerful mantra. One thing I wouldn't have done in the beginning of the loving kindness practice, you said, I want to run through. Be careful of those words, running through, right? It sounds like I was thinking, oh God, Carey's going to rush now because she wants to run through the loving kindness practice. Okay, don't just take that out.
Yeah.
Don't need to run through anything. It just didn't fit. Okay. Nice that mindfulness is a gym for our minds. Nice to talk about the muscle, 2 kilogram weight, 5. I was waiting for the definition at that point. But it's okay. I'll forgive you. But again, it depends on the audience. If you were talking to us, then it's not necessary. Depending on the audience. There was a stunning image of a guy with a cat. Was that me? I don't know.
It was. Unconsciously it was.
I knew it, but I don't have a ginger cat.
I think the second time I ran through it, I was like, oh, there's a cat on his shoulder.
It's nice. Yeah, it's definitely for me. Actually, just reminded me when I used to meditate, I did have a ginger cat, and every time I sat in the lotus, he would come and cuddle up in my lap.
No.
He was my meditation boy. And I've had cats since, but they don't do it like he did it. Yeah, I like the sort of where was it? The stand up, right, and wiggle and move, and then again you have a little laugh. You make use of, you laugh. Maybe it's a nervous laugh or whatever, but it's really fun and it breaks the sort of, I don't know, it just stands out and it makes it lighter. What you do with your eyes, you're not looking at anything, soft in focus. Very, very cool explanation. Very good explanation. Actually very detailed. Haven't heard anybody do it like that. Nice connection again to the belly breath. Love the words gently softens and deflates. Like that's the language of mindfulness, right? When using words like gently and softening and invite you, and we should actually make a dictionary, a mindfulness dictionary of all the mindful words that people can use, right? As facilitators, I should do that. Really, write a little mindful book. Any sensations in the body, nice quiet pauses. I love the pauses. I love the spaces. I thought you used that really well. It wasn't too long, wasn't too short. Invite a longer exhale. Love the word invite. Great breath instruction. I like the fact that I could go at my own pace. Now, with this practice of a visualization or an imagination practice where you feel safe, I know that you had a time concern and that you probably were thinking about it, but it was nice that you didn't rush it. I knew before you were going to present tonight that you were going to go over. I was convinced. I was convinced.
So did I.
I knew you were, because there was a lot you wanted to do, and I was like, okay, well, she's going to go over, so don't freak out. And then bringing the senses into the imagination. Imagine how it would, what sounds, smells, etc. Nice option of a friend being an animal. Love the word, again, curiosity and kindness. There's your mindful words coming in, This practice, did you make it up? Okay,
No.
I mean, it's a meta practice, but I've heard lots and lots of meta practices, but nothing like this before. Nothing like this.
I can't remember the first time that I experienced it, but I've definitely, somebody has led me through it before.
It's really nice. Like I was thinking, wow, how come I've never experienced the meta practice where and it was strange. I kind of like pictured a friend who I don't even know that well. I don't know, she just sort of popped into my mind. So it definitely invoked some emotion. Yeah. It was sweet. It was really sweet. You have your own phrases. When you said you can make up your own phrases if you like, giving us the option that maybe, your phrases we don't relate to and we can make up our own. That's nice. Nice to repeat the mantra again. Saying that strong emotions may arise. Placing a physical hand on your heart is also great. I love I wrote here great instruction on everything, I didn't feel left out. I didn't feel strange, confused. I love the imagery of that precious gift between your hands. I know that comes from Avalokiteshvara, Chenrezi, the four-armed Chenrezi. Anyway, 10 minutes overtime. I said I wasn't going to. Did apologize. You did apologize, so I forgive you. Your references.
I did actually think of apologizing before I started the meditation to say we are going to run overtime.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it's for us fun, it depends on your audience. If you've got a corporate audience and they've booked you, they might not book you again because that's their hard stop. They've got other meetings and now they've missed a very important part of your teach back or your, session. So something to keep in mind. Your references were great. The homework seemed a bit vague for me. If you had like a set, I know that you gave it in the I think when Maggie was talking or something, but could have been a bit. there.
Yeah, I think definitely I could have put together a little exercise to practice at home. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, something tangible like a bar of soap or a candle or a incense stick or, something
Mm.
something to make it real. But yeah, sure. I really, really, really loved this, Carrie, and yes, you are a natural, and yes, you were born to do this work.
Thank you.
For
Ah,
sure, for sure. I mean, um, I don't think it's easy to do this work, and I, I I think you were born. You were born to do it. You have a love for it. You've always loved it ever since the days of living yoga. It was a bug that bit you, and you just carried on going and going. And I watched you from afar, and you moved town, moved far away, and everything. But you carried on, and you ran your retreats and all the rest of it. And if you were doing retreats in Joburg, I definitely would have come to them. Uh, I guess I'm a bit lazy to travel, but I was really admiring you from afar, and I knew whatever you were doing was ultimately going to be great and good. So yeah, I mean, I really think you've got what it takes. You're the real deal. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You've come
I'm
a
gonna cry.
long way. Yeah, well done.
Thank you, thank you.
So I'm done.
Not here without you, Mark.
Yeah, it was really good, and I'd like to see this again. And we must come up with, inventive ways of how to put people um, and grow people and get this work out there. Um, but anyway, that brings us to the close of tonight and of the course. It's been a long journey. Um, some have fallen off, and life gets in the way.
Mm.
Sadly, it would have been nice if everybody was here this evening. We miss everybody, but I congratulate you guys for. And maybe there was stuff going on in your life, but you just said, you know what, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna dedicate it, and no matter what happens, I'm gonna be here, and for me, yeah, I love that. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's just that more serious, and the timing was wrong. But I rejoice that the timing was right for you. Um, all of you have become very close to me, good friends. I love you guys, and I'm sad. I'm really sad. I actually feel that this is one of my favorite groups of all the groups, and you're probably thinking I say that to all the girls, but I don't. Um, no, I mean it. I mean it. Your involvement, your dedication to the process is next level, and there are some obviously more than others. The feedback. I mean, Alida blew my mind with her feedback. I'm still like spinning because she gave me such an in-depth like email and conversation, and I'm so grateful, Alida. Very smart people, all of you. Um, I sounded like Yoda there for a minute. Very smart people, all of you. But no, you are. I mean, you're all just so smart, and there's times when I'm like, wow, it's just incredible to have such great minds in a group together. And it's like those, I always see a thread with every group, and it's quite interesting because it's almost like there's a design, and that I don't believe in like chaos and random chance by luck. I always feel that people come together, and that it was meant to be, and that there's a thread, and I can see it, and it's like that with every group. So it was meant to be, that we came together, and I do believe it's by design, and it's nice to explore that. And nothing makes me more happy when I go onto Instagram or Facebook and I see people that were in the same group as each other, friends, and they're liking and commenting on each other's posts, you know. So now they're real friends because they're friends on Facebook. But yeah, you know what I mean. And I've seen people get together, you know, and make real solid friendships. But I know geography and where you are plays a part in that as well. So if you have any ideas of how we can keep connecting, I'm open to that. But I'm now keen to help you grow. So if I can help you grow in any way, if I can support you in your journey and I mean, Rafiel Yoni was a student. She's now the CEO of our business, you know. There's a lot of facilitators that came to Mindful Revolution. I trained them all. I see a lot of people in the corporate space that I've trained doing amazing things in their own companies, running sessions. I get criticized by my team because I train people up and they take work away from us because I trained them so well. So yeah, I'm like, oh well, that's just what I do. Sorry. You know, I would rather see people spread the information than keep it all to myself. You know, I would rather, if you can facilitate better than me, if you can spread it better than me, if you can, you know, be part of the bigger mindful revolution, well, God bless, go for it. You know what I mean? Take my material. I don't have RP, no such thing. Just go for it. You know, just do it. Really, if you want my slides, I'll give you my slides. I'll give you everything. If you want all my material, I'll give you all my material. Really, I am, except for Haley's GBV material. No, Haley and I tell you, we already hit the ground, man. I'm so proud. We did a mindfulness and gender-based violence. When was it, Haley? Thursday. It was.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
last week.
So myself,
Mm.
Haley, and a lady called Impile. She's like a bodybuilder, rugby player. Yes, tough lady. Don't want to mess with her, but we did a GBV mindfulness half-day workshop for Anglo America. We've got another one booked on the 9th of December. We've got a masterclass online for APSA tomorrow. We've got another masterclass. I don't know, is it the next day or something? Yeah, good. So I mean, we've got a business. Haley and I have got a business, you know, already, and it's just like that, right? So that's what I'm talking about. You know, I'm not about paper trail. You know, you can go to Stellenbosch, you can get a degree, but then what are you going to do with it? You're just going to sit on your ass with it. You know, might as well wipe your bum with it. You can't do anything. You know, really. I've seen all these people. Oh, what kind of mindfulness? Where's your degree? And I say, I don't have a degree. You don't need a degree to swim in the pool. You know, what are you going to study swimming? Mindfulness is a practice, right? Yes, there is some theory involved, and we've gone through the theory, but the real essence is in the practice. It's in that circle of soothing. That's the circle. So it's happening. You know, if you have an idea, if you have a spark, let's turn it into a blazing fire and do good things. And it's possible. I'm doing it every day. And I think maybe that's why I do these teacher trainings, so magic can happen and I can get to meet lacquer people and just hang out with you guys. So thank you, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. It's been a privilege and continues to be. And I hope we keep our little group chat going and stay in touch. And maybe one day, have a catch up virtually or in the real in a small group, it would be lovely.
Yeah, it would be nice to do some weekend retreat somewhere.
Mhm.
I would love to go to Greece and do something there, but I know budget-wise it's a bit difficult. But that's my dream, is to bring people together at a pretty place and we spend a weekend drinking lemongrass shots and things like that, you know. That's what I'd like to. That's ultimately what my dream is to go to beautiful places, and Carey knows a couple of those places, and and just hang out with you guys in person, and you can all take a break from your life and your husbands and your kids, and just 2 days or something somewhere nice. Thanks. Gosh, what else was there? No, I think that's it. Hey, yeah. Okay,
Amazing. Thank you, Mark, for everything.
my pleasure.
Thank you, everybody else, for everything.
Thanks, ladies, and we'll keep in touch. Oh, yes, the WhatsApp group will never die. You know why? Because Carol will just keep it going. I mean, she's always got, there's always something awesome that she's posting. So it'll never die. Well done, Carol. Well done. It'll never die. And please, when it's Carol's turn to teach back, we have to come back together. And
Definitely.
Right.
Halush reached out to me. She's been picking up the pieces of her broken home in Lebanon. Her home actually got hit.
Oh,
I mean, it's just mind blowing. She sent me a video of her home that was bombed,
Oh,
but it's not completely destroyed. So she would like to do her teach back, and so we might have to come back again to see her teach back, and of course Carol's, and that'll be in the new year. So we will reunite. Okay, lovely. Okay, now you can go off and go watch Netflix and get back to your forget about mindfulness. No, just may you all be happy.
you.
May you all be healthy. May you all be safe. May you all live in peace. Take care.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Lynn.
I know. As Carey goes, yeah. Bye.
Thank you.